Ryan Reynolds here for, I guess, my 100th Mint commercial. No, don't. I mean, honestly, when I started this, I thought I only have to do like 4 of these. I mean, it's unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month. How are there still people paying 2 or 3 times that much? I'm sorry, I shouldn't be victim blaming here. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/save. Whenever you're ready.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.
This episode is brought to you by United Airlines. When you want to make the most of your vacation, book with United. They're an airline that cares about your travels as much as you do. United is transforming the flying experience with Bluetooth connectivity, screens, power at every seat, and bigger overhead bins to help fit everyone's bag. And with their app, you can skip the bag check line, get live updates, and more. Change the way you fly. Book your next trip today at united.com.
No brakes, no fear. The official British Speedway podcast.
Welcome along. Well, it is very much a Poole Pirates fest in this episode because once again another champion special, and the Poole Pirates are back in command of the Cab Direct Championship with another league title, their 3rd in 4 years, as they defeated the Oxford Cheetahs on Wednesday night.
If it stays like this is going to be it. Round the 3rd and 4th turn for the final time. And Zach Cook and Tobias Thompson lead the Pirates home. And the Pirates are the 2024 Cab Direct Championship champions.
They're absolutely buzzing, and this place has just erupted. Unbelievable scenes tonight. This has been such a terrific meeting, and you've got to hand it to both teams. Oxford and Poole really have put a show on for us tonight.
Yes, it's probably going to go down as a bit of a classic at Wimborne Road on Wednesday night, and went all the way to Heat 14, and no shortage of drama, even from the very first heat, which saw Richard Lawson excluded, being a judge to have sent Sam Masters into the air fence, and that then led to the Pirates being 14 points down at that stage, but they battled back all the way in and levelled the overall with a 5-1 from Ben and Zach Cook in Heat 9. But it took until Heat 12 for them to finally take the lead, with Zach Cook and Tobias Thompson securing the triumph in a 4-2 in the penultimate race. Tom Brennan top scored with 13 points from 5 rides, and Tobias Thompson also put in a key display at reserve, 10+2 for him. Richard Lawson bounced back from that Heat 1 disqualification, and he got 10+1 from his remaining outings. For the Cheetahs, Sam Masters led the way, 10 points for him, but their hopes were hit by the withdrawal of high-scoring reserve Luke Colleen, who was involved in 2 early crashes and was forced to withdraw from the rest of the meeting. Let's hear from the Pirates skipper right now, Ben Cook.
It's awesome, man. I'm lost for words at the moment. We had the back at the wall at the start of the meeting, and we knew we could do it for sure, but it was going to be a hill to climb, and to get it done, it's a cool feeling.
How does it feel for you coming back from injury? Was there ever a question of you not riding in these meetings?
It would take a lot more than that for me to stop. You know, I've worked hard all year, and as have the boys too. I didn't want to miss it, that's for sure. And to have it here and lift it up, it's awesome.
3 medals in 2 weeks for you. It's easy, this Speedway, isn't it?
It sounds easy. It's far from it, but I'm pretty well lost for words still. It's awesome.
Losing to Glasgow here last year, how much did that hurt, and how determined did it make you to win?
There's a few of us who were in the team last year, and we definitely didn't want that feeling again. It's not a nice feeling, and especially at our home track, we wanted to be here and lifting it up. A massive crowd tonight, and we couldn't have done it without them.
So there's Ben Cook, the Poole Pirates captain, and Ben has jetted straight over to Poland because he's got some commitments there, so he's not able to join us on this podcast. But I'm very pleased to say that despite a heavy schedule of partying after that victory on Wednesday night, we've got the Poole Pirates team manager, Neil Middleditch, 30 trophies for Midlow as well as a result of that, and another league title, 11 in 24 years. And a couple of those, of course, were affected by COVID. So it's pretty much averaging every other year for the Poole Pirates this century. And alongside Neil Middleditch is Zach Cook, the rider who was racing to actually bring the title home in Heat 14 as well with Tobias Thompson. Welcome to the podcast. Great to have you on. Congratulations on being the league champions in the Cab Direct Championship. Midlo, I know it was a busy night last night. We were there and involved in it. And how's the last 24 hours gone for you overall?
Yeah, it's been pretty hectic, actually. Yeah, I'm feeling a bit sorry for myself today, as you can imagine. But yeah, no, it's been a great. I mean, yesterday was fantastic. I mean, it was an epic meeting, epic final. I think, you would be hard pushed to find anybody who wasn't entertained.
Yeah, it had a bit of everything and drama on all sides. And Zach, for you, you were one of the riders that brought it home in the end and confirmed the win out in Heat 14. So a great moment for you, coming over the finish line, knowing that was it, fully sealed. And of course, it was looking like it was going Poole's way in the closing stages, of course. But obviously, you've got to do it. You got the points that was needed, and must have been fantastic to be getting the bumps from your teammates and seeing everybody flooding onto the track and the fans going bonkers. It was a great moment.
Yeah, it was cool. We were 14 down at one stage there, and we were slowly clawing it back all meeting, and then we got in front, and Middleditch said that we need that 4-2 or whatever, and it was once I made the start and got out of that first corner, I seen Toby there in third. I thought that was all we needed. Didn't know until after the race, whatever. But no, it was cool. All the boys put in a big effort. There was no one person that done it, but it was cool to be in that race to seal it off before. It was looking like I was thinking it was going to be Heat 15 or Super Heat before we knew. But it was cool to get it done in that Heat 14.
Everybody knew it was likely to be close when you look at the stats and the battles that you've had with Oxford, certainly in the league through the course of this season. They've always, on aggregate, have worked out pretty close, haven't they? So all the signs pointed towards it going the distance, and it pretty much did. As you say, had that Heat 14 not been a heat advantage to yourselves, you would have been going to a last heat decider, possibly a super heat. You wouldn't want to be deciding a league title on a super heat, Midlo, would you?
No, definitely not. No. I mean, it was, as Zach said, the boys all dug really deep. I said before the meeting, I said, you basically had 3 bad races at Oxford, and obviously 13 and 15 hurt us very hard. And you were only 4 down at that stage, and then 2 5-1s against us really hurt. And I said pre-meeting to you guys that 6 to 8 I would have been happy with. 12, it was a bit of a call, to be fair. But no, as I say, the boys dug really deep, and it's just a great team effort. And as you said, fantastic crowd last night. I mean, it was a tremendous atmosphere at the stadium.
It was, and I think it was a fixture that, had drama right from the off, of course, with Richard Lawson getting excluded in that first heat. It was not the start that you were planning on. You wanted to hit them hard, and of course that was a bit of a setback, wasn't it? But it really stirred the crowd up, and then Vinnie Ford getting involved in 1 or 2 tangles too, and that really turned up the temperature even further. The first 4 heats, I think there was something, wasn't there, that happened throughout. Yeah,
that's right, and I think, as you say, poor old Vinny's been copping on the socials today. But as I say, you don't want to confuse the kids' enthusiasm for dangerous riding. And if I've watched some of the replays today, and particularly the Jody Scott one. Jody turned going across the start finish line, which you don't turn to go across the start finish line, and poor old Vinny had nowhere to go, and he's been copying it terribly on the socials. And I think it's absolutely uncalled for.
With Vinny, of course, he's a rider that's fresh, raw. But I know you quite like him, Midlo, don't you? But he what he brings, I think, he brings that excitement. He's always going to have a go, and certainly for the spectators, gets them off their seats, doesn't he? They know that he's going to throw the kitchen sink at it, and it might be a little bit raw at some point. But as you were saying last night, you were saying he's got a quality that in many ways you can't teach.
He needs fine tuning. It said last night he needs fine tuning. His heart's in the right place. He's got the heart of a lion. He's enthusiastic, and I love his enthusiasm. And I would never fault him for that. And it just he just needs to calm down and learn some more bike skills. And I think he could be a very good rider for the future, for sure.
And tell us about this team, of course, a little bit different from last year. Every year there's changes really required with the way things go. People move on and what have you. But setting your stall out to win this title back, of course, it was a big disappointment 12 months ago when Glasgow won at Wimborne Road, of course, and took that league title. It must have been a painful moment, but then immediately the work begins to try and reclaim that title. So just tell us about the theory of putting this team together in the first place.
Well, I think Matt's always been a master, and Danny, of getting a team together. You've got to try and pick riders who you think are going to improve on their averages, and this year, I mean, I think our top 3-4, including Zach, have been absolutely rock solid all season. And that's been the key factor. And obviously, Sam Hagen started off very well, lost his way a little bit towards the end, and Tobias and Vinny, given they're all not really knowing what you're going to get, but it's just keeping the enthusiasm going in the team. And we've had great team spirit this year with Ben being captain and Zach and Tom and Rich. They're all chatting to the youngsters and helping them along. And I think last night that really proved that. We had 2 or 3 chats in the pits and come on, we can do this, and we did. So yeah, very happy.
And for you as well, Neil, it's a 30th title, 30th trophy that you've won through the course of your career. I think it was the Craven Shield. Is that the first one in way back when? That will be the first title. The first
99, probably. Yeah, that was the first year. 99, maybe. Yeah. I never get tired of winning. So I've worked with some great riders over the years, but I think last night's final ranks right up there for the drama. I think as a neutral, I think I said I had some friends who came who don't really go, and they just thought it was like absolutely outstanding. So I think it was a good advert for Speedway. Sadly, some of the Oxford fans have been a bit I would say less than complimentary about it, but they lost, and I fully understand that. And but that's Speedway, and it's all part of the game.
Zach, for you, of course, you now with a title. I know that you had the medal around your neck. You said last night you weren't taking it off. It must be still knocking around there somewhere. You're very proud, of course, to get this. But racing with your brother, also a special thing too, because Neil put you back together again in 3 and 4 in the order, and you have been a real powerhouse. So we haven't done the stats, but we think obviously you as a pairing must have among the highest amount of 5-1s through the course of the season, I would have thought.
Yeah, it's been good. We rode, I think, most of last year together as well, and this year, it's cool doing it with him, and we know each other on the track and what the plan is, and we know there's a job to do, and we've been solid this year at Poole. It's been cool. He's been leading me around most of the time, but it's been good, and it's cool to win that one with Ben as captain.
But it feels like you've really stepped up in the more recent weeks, and I think particularly the time where Ben was missing, through that crash at Scunny, and you were captain for the day, and you went out there and bagged yourself a hatful. Extra responsibility, leading from the front, and you really got stuck in, didn't you?
Yeah. I can't really put it down to one thing. It's sort of all just been working well for the last couple of months, and it was cool to take the captain's badge for him while he couldn't ride, and had a good meeting up there at Scunny, and he sort of led us the way for the rest of the meetings. But it's been a good end of the season for me, and looking forward to the next couple next week, and hopefully get that one as well.
Well, this is it. You get a rematch with Oxford, and this great irony, isn't it? That this fixture has sort of stirred everything up quite a bit, and I don't know how it's going to go. I guess because Poole are going to be having the first leg next week on Wednesday, and the plan is, obviously weather permitting and all, but the plan is for it to be back-to-back nights. So it's going to be all done over that course of that 24 hours at Poole first, and then off to Oxford. Does that change things at all there at Midlow in your experience, having the first leg and then going there with a lead or whatever to defend? Or I'm assuming you're going to have a lead. It might work out the other way, but
that's right. I mean, Oxford have come in and pulled our pants down, haven't they, already once this year? So we mustn't be complacent on the fact that we won last night. But on Wednesday, but it's no, I think 24 hours. I mean, we don't get time to dwell on it. Whatever the result is, we don't get time to dwell on it. The boys, Zach and Ben will be up doing their bikes Thursday morning. Luckily Oxford's nice and close, so we don't have to leave till quite late. So they've got all day to get their bikes done. So I think it's probably a good thing to get over and done with. And like I say, just hopefully the weather doesn't intervene.
We're speaking to you from your home, Bailey House, on the outskirts of Poole. And through your doors, it's been a who's who of Speedway over the years. And often these are relatively unknown riders when you first meet them. They come around the other side of the world, and often they depart as, national or world champions in some respects. Chris Holder, Jason Crump, and Tony Ricardson, not least, have all based themselves at your home, and Ben and Zach Cook are the latest in that line now, and obviously got workshops there and everything else. But just tell us about that, really, and a side of it, as I say, it's important that these riders feel comfortable, I guess, when they come so far.
Yeah, it's too numerous to mention, really. But yeah, we've had. I mean, like Zach and Ben are Susie and I, like our adopted Aussie kids, as Darcy was when he was here, and as you say, I have a Tony here, and many other riders, and it's great. I mean, it's a great house for it. We've got the workshops here. Jack Holder's got his workshop here as well. So there's Speedway going on all the time here, and that's my life, as everybody knows, and I love it. They can be a pain sometimes. Zach and Ben are not quite as much trouble as Darcy was. I can tell you that for a fact. But yeah, we loved him dearly, but yeah, no, it's been good, and I enjoy the car. They wouldn't be here if they were trouble.
But for you, Zach, and of course with Ben, you've made way around the other side of the world. You're not the only brothers to have done that from the same town that you're from in Aussie as well, with obviously Brady Kurtz, Todd Kurtz have made that journey previously from the same place in Australia. What's it like? Because you leave a lot of stuff behind. You probably come to a fairly alien place. You'll know a few riders, I guess, in Speedway, but it must be a bit of a culture shock, Zach.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously the first year is like, you don't really know what you're expecting, like traveling other side of the world to race, like what we've wanted to do since we were kids. But yeah, country, like obviously pretty similar to Australia, except for the weather. But me and Ben obviously are very lucky here with Susie and Midlow, and they look after us well. And it's cool, like being somewhere that sort of feels like home as well, not just stuck in a little apartment somewhere. And as I said, we get the workshops here and riding down a Poole as well. And sometimes the weather's good down here, which is nice. It reminds a bit like home, but no, it's unreal. We get looked after well.
I'm cooking a steak tonight for dinner.
Oh, wow. Okay. They've earned it, I guess. But I suppose it's that having that, like you say, a bit of family normality as well, isn't it? That, obviously, as Midlow just mentioned there, kind of you've adopted kids from down under, but having that sort of normal-ish family life in a place that's a little bit strange, allows you to settle in a bit more and live a normal life, as you say, rather than being cut off and not really speaking to people and not knowing people and all that kind of stuff. You're very much in a Speedway world there now. Yeah, exactly. Because there is a lot of time where you're not riding and sort of just sat at home, whether it's rain-offs or you're not riding, whatever. But no, it's cool. We're always keeping busy down here, and whether we're playing golf or whatever it is. And no, it's cool, obviously, being so far from home, that, still having that feeling here. I was going to say, golf is surely going to be on the agenda, is it? Now we're quieting down a little bit.
Yeah, golf, but also darts. We our Friday night, we have a little hour down the pub before dinner and play darts down there, and Zach and Ben beat all the English guys down there last week in our game, so it was a bit embarrassing being beaten by Australians at darts, but there you go. But mind you, saying that, they have got a dartboard up outside their room as well, so that they can practice all day as well.
And have you been having darts lessons with Scott Mitchell?
We need to get him down to come show us how to do it, but he sponsored us with his own darts, so he looked after us there. And we've seen him in action down at Poole. There's a dartboard in the coffee room down there, and it's pretty cool to watch it.
Yeah. See how it's done. And looking at the season overall for you, Zach, it was a bit of a funny one, wasn't it? Because you started off with Birmingham, and then they had that ridiculous situation where they needed to make way for Freddie Lindgren, and somebody had to go, and then they took you out, and then before you know it, you're back in the side again. It was a bit of a topsy-turvy one, and you ended up being one of the more solid riders for Birmingham, ironically, and I think I don't know if they maybe regret that decision in the first place now. I don't know.
Yeah, it was obviously Speedway, you never know what's going to happen, do you? But yeah, it was sort of a pretty crap situation at the time, and obviously not knowing what was going to happen. And as I travelled the other side of the world to race my bike, and yeah, when you sort of that happens and you're sitting around not doing much, it's not a good feeling. But it's sort of, I knew something would happen, I didn't know what, but end up obviously going back there and probably proving a point that they did make the wrong decision. And I just went about my business, and I just want to ride my bike. It didn't really matter who I was riding for, but apart from that sort of blip during the season, it's been pretty good for me.
When you were out of that team and then obviously you had the chance to come back into it again, I think you were very sort of accommodating in going back there. There'd be plenty of riders that wouldn't. Yeah,
definitely. I didn't make my decision straight away, put it that way, but I'd have a think about it, what I want to be riding my bike, and I can't just keep sitting around waiting and just to try and prove a point and not go back. So it was a bit of a funny one, and once I did go back, I just was going there to do a job. I sort of forgot about all that, and I wanted to be busy, and I was sort of sitting around for months, 6 weeks, whatever it was, and I wasn't enjoying that.
And what's the next stage for you then? Obviously, with we've seen what Ben made the step into Extra Liga. He's staying with Lesno, isn't he, next season? Even though they got relegated, so they're in the league down now, but it's still a handy looking league. Like it's not the National League, is it? It's still pretty handy. But for you, are you looking to sort of follow in those footsteps now in the next couple of years?
Yeah, definitely. We're nice to sort of maybe have something in the plan for next year, but I don't think that will happen. But it's something that's what the goal is, to get out there and riding in the bigger leagues out there, and it'll come when it is the right time. And maybe him going there might help me open a few doors for myself, and that'd be cool. I'll sort of go over there with him a bit whenever I'm not busy here, and sort of see how it works a bit. And but when the time's right, it'll happen, hopefully.
And you can see a progression as well, because obviously like Brady Kurtz maybe a few years ahead, and now he's just qualified for the Grand Prix, so you can see the similar sort of plan, I guess. Yeah,
it's all stepping stones in it. You got to start at the bottom and work your way up, and it can be a slow ladder sometimes, but as long as you're going up, that's all you can ask for. And Ben he done well, and sort of proved that he can do it, I guess, earlier in the year, and he's I'll be looking to do the same.
A word about Brady. He's another former resident of the Dorset area with yourself there, Neil. You must have been delighted now to see him win that GP challenge, and now obviously he's a fully fledged Grand Prix rider.
Yeah, very much so. I think Brady's had a fantastic season and thoroughly deserving of his GP spot. He tended to be overlooked a little bit for the Aussies, because you shake a tree and an Aussie falls out of it, isn't it? And he's been overlooked, and I think he's fully earned his place. And I was messaged Brady and wishing him luck, and then obviously congratulating him on the qualification. But he's worked very hard at it, and say thoroughly deserved the spot. And I'll tell you what, Brady gets out in front. He's very hard to catch, and that's going to be the same in the Grand Prix. He's a very good rider on all types of tracks, big tracks, little tracks. So he's got that in his resume already. So he's going to be a dangerous rider in the Grand Prix. I think. I really do.
You've worked with a number of top riders, world champions, Tony Ricardson, Jason Crump, Chris Holder, obviously Darcy Ward as well, who you would probably argue that would certainly have been there or thereabouts for a world championship if things had been different. But what is the secret? Is there a quality that you see in a rider that separates them out and puts them apart, that you can say, this lad's got it?
I think you can, from my point of view, I can look at riders and I can, when they look good on a bike, they work the bike, they're thinking. I always say to the rider, it's not just a throttle; you got to use your head as well. And that's come back to Vinny. That's what he's got to learn. But no, you have to be. Look, I can see a rider and think, this kid, like you say, has something. He's intelligent. He makes the right moves. Doesn't chase back wheels all the time. and you need longevity in this game, and none of you want to end up injured and sat on the sidelines for 6 to 8 to 10 weeks or whatever. You need to be, as Zach said, you need to be spending time on your bike. That's the only way you're going to improve.
And for the Poole Pirates, of course, it's more success. But the success just keeps coming, doesn't it? And obviously there's the team building, but there's a general ethos about the place as well. And I know we were discussing this around your table last night with various riders that and Adam Roynan being one of them, and the difference that being a Poole rider brings. And maybe you can both talk about that a little bit. There's just a winning mentality, isn't there? It's not necessarily an expectation, but you walk in there and riders feel, we've got a chance, we're going to win today. It's not a case of we might win, it's we are going to win, and it's up to the other team to stop you. Yeah,
exactly. And this year, except for one meet when Oxford were down there, we've made sort of home our fortress. And all the boys, we all want to win. So as Matt, Dan, Midlow, everyone, the whole club wants to. And when that's all sort of put together and everyone's got that winning mentality, and everyone's riding well, obviously, like, we are hard to stop, and and they've been a successful club. That's why not many people like to see us winning, but I just got to get used to it for this year.
I echo what Zach says, but I think also if you're happy where you work, you perform better. If you got to go to a job and think, I don't want to be here, you're not going to give it your best shot, are you? And I think what Zach said is the club. We've had a lot of success. I don't say we demand success, but we want success. And I always say, my pre-meeting chat before we go on the press today is, welcome to the most hated club in the country. And they hate us because we keep winning it, and I'll keep doing that. I mean, it's just one of those things that we want to do. I mean, it's not a popularity contest. We're here to win leagues. I mean, obviously we'd like to be liked by other clubs, but it's a difficult one. They don't like being beaten by us, and I fully understand that.
Just a word about Oxford from your side, because you've had some very close, tasty battles. They are, as we mentioned before, the only team to have got the better of Poole at Wimborne Road, not just this season, but in the last few seasons. In fact, prior to that, I think it was Leicester, wasn't it, going back a few years, who got a victory at the end of that season. People sort of question this. Where's this rivalry come from between Poole and Oxford? Because historically, maybe there was, some sort of Oxford fans are confused as to why there's all of a sudden a bit of rivalry. But I don't think it is. I just think it's just because you're near neighbours now, and you've had these great battles. And I think last night has probably maybe given a reason for the rivalry.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. I mean, it is, and the Oxford. I mean, greatest respect for Oxford. Obviously, they're two best teams on show last night, and Peter Schrock's a great friend of mine. I've known Peter from day one, and it's dare I say, I really felt for Peter last night. Because I've been in that situation. It's not a nice situation to get there, but it's one of those things, isn't it? It's that's what I'm there to do. That's my job, and that's what I do.
You were pacing up and down quite a lot. Did you see much of the racing itself, or were you just were you keeping an eye on the score? Or
no, I watch it all. I pace up and down. I'm renowned for that. I get my steps in one meeting. but no, I tend to be quite emotionless during the meeting when we're in the midst of battle. But the minute it was done and dusted, then I let go with the emotions, because I don't want to be over enthusiastic and get shot down. So I tend to keep my emotions to myself during the meeting. Obviously, if it's a good race, I'll get excited. But no, I tend to leave it till the end, and then I go crazy.
And it was a big night. Matt Ford made the journey over, and we saw on BSN Matt actually delivering a bit of a team talk as well, just in that sort of that interval along with yourself. What was the message there at that point in the meeting?
Well, I think we were all there. I mean, everybody had a bit of input. Like Zach said, he said, it's ours to lose, and that was it. And Matt he wants to win as bad as we do. He hasn't been to many meetings, but I know he obviously watches everything on BSN or whatever. But it was just believe in ourselves. Believe we can do it. And when we cut the deficit back, and I just felt we just had to keep the ball rolling. We just couldn't lose that momentum, and we didn't, and we sealed the deal.
Knockout Cup still to go then, as we touched on earlier, and it is a reacquaintance with Oxford once again. I guess it's just going to be more of the same from yourselves, isn't it? I say you've got the first leg this time, so slightly different night at Wimborne Road. But two trophies already in the cabinet and looking to make it a treble.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, we certainly won't get our foot off the gas, but I'm sure Shockey will be giving his boys a severe talking to about that. But as much as he wants it, so do we. We want to get the treble. We've done it before, and it'd be nice to do it again this year.
I think, isn't it right? You've made every cup final since moving to the championship. You probably know better than me. Yeah, but yeah, pretty much. Yeah. In fact, Zach asked me last night how many finals we've been in. I said I cannot honestly remember how many finals I've actually been in, but it's been a pretty epic journey for me over the last 20 odd plus years. Certainly has, and obviously you touched on it earlier, but that final last night, the championship grand final, where does that rank as a victory? It's your 30th, so it's special for that reason. But where would you place that one alongside your great meetings?
It's pretty up there. I think just for the pure tension of the whole meeting. We've gone into final before when we've had a good lead and been unassailable, if you like. But no, I think I knew Oxford, they were going to be coming for us, and they had to attack us. And my speech before the track was we have to attack them. We can't. Oxford don't want to defend; they want to attack, and we had to do that and get that back. But no, I think. As a final, I think it was a great one. I mean, it really was good. It had everything in it. It was entertainment wise. I've had so many messages from my non-Speedway friends who were there, or some a few actually streamed it. So that I always gauge that on non-Speedway people. If they enjoy it, I think, well, that's good. That's somebody who's into our sport or likes our sport, and I'm very happy with that.
Yeah, and a lot of people have been talking about it. As I say, some of the decisions or the incidents or whatever, people are having their say. But regardless of whether they agree with stuff or not, I think it's great that people are talking about Speedway, and people can have their opinions on the likes of Vinnie Ford, for example. But you can have your opinion, but you're talking about him. And I think we said this on BSN last night that. And Tobias Thompson, let's give him a mention too, because he was doing the donuts on this line. He vaulted over the fence and was like, pointing at the trophy when it was getting closer and closer and stuff like that. It's entertainment, isn't it? That's what it's about. It's entertainment, and I think people say we haven't got any personalities in Speedway, but then they complain when there's a personality in Speedway. But that's what we need, isn't it? People are talking about it.
Yeah, that's right, exactly. I mean, it's like Zorro was a donut, and obviously Score Nicky was the same, and the fans love it. They want to be entertained. It's like Zach and Ben, when they pop their wheelies together down the straight, it's brilliant. That's what you want. You don't just sort of ride back in the bits and have no interaction. I mean, I've been that supporter. I've been that kid stood in the stand screaming with my favourite rider, and I think last night was a great meeting, great entertainment. I'm biased because we won, but I think as I said, as neutrals, I think it was a very entertaining meeting, and as you say, it had a bit of everything. Decisions, they go for you, they go against you. It's no point. I mean, I've never changed a referee's decision. Well, I said like once in my life, but they're not going to change. They're not going to change the decision. I mean, I can get on the phone last night with the Richard Lawson incident. Obviously, Peter's on the phone about the Scotty Nichols one and with Vinny. But it is what it is. The referees are not going to please both teams. That's a fact. That's a fact.
Turning attention then to 2025, you've got 2 trophies to defend, and you've still got the work to go on the Knockout Cup. So, with a successful team, and I said this last week when we were talking about the Bellevue Aces. When you have success in a team, usually it means there's going to be some tweaks and changes somewhere to fit averages. And I think the way the averages are looking for Poole at the moment, you'd have to have a massive increase in the points limit to keep all the guys as you've got at the moment.
Yeah, no, we know there's going to be changes. It's a sad fact of Speedway, isn't it? It's probably one of the few sports where you get penalised for being successful. They say, why can't you keep the winning team? I personally think that the other teams should try to aspire to the top team's average. Obviously, if it's a massive average, you've got to draw a happy medium. But I think rather than lowering the average, I think. But the problem is there's a shortage of riders, isn't there? There's not a great dearth of riders to draw from. So you've got to try and be sensible about it.
Just on that note, just obviously a nod. Ben Cook, the only rider to have league winners' medals in both leagues this year.
Yeah,
he's done well there.
He got 3. 3 so far, I think. So, hopefully make it 4.
Good point. Well, look, thanks for joining us. Awesome effort, and congratulations on winning the league championship. obviously cups and stuff, they're fantastic, but the league title must be the main priority. It's the one that it's the marathon, isn't it? It's what the whole season's about.
Yeah, that's the one. I mean, they're all trophies are great to get, but this one we won last night, that's the one that we really, really wanted. And I said to the boys, we worked so hard from March up to now. Let's not lose it at the last hurdle. And they did me proud and they did the whole of Poole proud. So it's an honour to manage them. They're a great bunch of kids, and I've enjoyed working with them this year.
There is the winner's medal. Fantastic. Good luck in the Knockout Cup next week, weather permitting. Hopefully that gets done, and then that's the season finished. Then, and you'll be heading back home pretty soon, I guess, Zach.
Yeah, haven't got a flight booked yet. I sort of got to wait and see what happens with this weather first. But probably first week in November. I was looking at going home and get back into some sun. But yeah, it's been a big season, long season. So yeah, looking forward to a bit of quiet time when we get back home.
And are you doing the Aussie Championships and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I'll do the Australian titles. It's in sort of start of January, so that's 4 rounds over there, which is a lot of miles in the van, and yeah, a lot of sweat in that title. But no, there's a lot of meetings you can do, but it's just a lot of travelling and stuff. But I think I'll be just happy to do the Australian titles.
Yeah, and people everywhere around the world will be able to watch certainly the Mildura round on BSN. So you can watch that in it's January, isn't it? 5th of January, I think, is it?
Yeah, early January, yeah.
Yeah, so that's first Sunday in January anyway, Mildura, and you can see the Aussie boys. And the week before that, we've got the Jason Lyons event at Mildura as well, which is again got a cracking lineup, but few of the riders as well. I think Tom Brennan's involved in that too. I think he's going over there for that meeting. So it'll be a mix of British and Aussie riders.
Yeah, they always put on good meetings down there, and yeah, a lot of the boys do them. So that'll be good, and it's cool that everyone can watch it as well.
Awesome stuff. Well, look, thanks for joining us, and onwards to 2025, and enjoy the winter.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Neil Middleditch and Zach Cook of the Poole Pirates. And the Poole Pirates are the 2024 Cab Direct Championship champions. And that follows up from their BSN Series success the week prior. And they've still got the Knockout Cup to come. Coming up in the next part of No Breaks, No Fear, a quick look ahead to everything coming up over the next 7 days. It won't take very long, I can assure you, because we're nearly at the end of the season now, with everything almost done. And we'll just reflect on a couple of other quick stories in just a few moments here on No Breaks, No Fear.
No Breaks, No Fear, the official British Speedway podcast.
So, not long to go for the British Speedway season, and therefore not a great deal to round up or preview in this section. But just to give a couple of mentions to one or two things that have been going on, particularly in the lower leagues, the WSRA National Development League. Sam Hagan completed a strong NDL campaign with a 13-point haul in Monday's 55-35 win over Sheffield, which ensured runners-up position for the Colts in the league table. And congratulations to them. And, of course, the winners. Once again, the Leicester Lion Cubs were champions in the National Development League. Also, we've got the results of the British Under-19 Championships, and Ace Piper has been crowned the British Under-19 champion. He got 11 points out of a possible 12 at Oxford on Sunday. Races, of course, for the Scunthorpe Sheffield team in the National Development League at the moment, and his teammate Luke Harrison, after 4 completed rides, ended up finishing in second place. Ace Piper taking it on countback, having beaten Harrison when they met in Heat 4. The home youngster Jody Scott was third on 10 points, with the final round of heats unable to take place because of rain steadily falling and intensifying with conditions unsuitable for racing. There was a delay to the meeting, though. 15-year-old William Cairns won his first 2 rides, but was involved in a heavy crash with Luke Colleen in the final running of Heat 16. and he was taken to hospital with concussion, a broken nose, and bruising to his lungs. So get well soon to Will Cairns, and we had Will on the podcast just a couple of weeks ago, so please go back and have a listen to that, because it's a fascinating chat with Will and all he's doing to get as much practice and training and knowledge into him as he can at this stage in his career. And you can hear that in a previous episode of No Breaks, No Fear from a couple of weeks ago. As far as things go when we're looking ahead to fixtures coming up, well, there isn't a great deal to excite you with on that front. We mainly just have the Cab Direct Knockout Cup final between Poole and Oxford, and then Oxford and Poole. So this is going to be the plan. The first leg of that will be next Wednesday, so just around a week or so from the time of releasing this. So that will be the 16th of October, and that will be at Poole. And the second leg, just 24 hours later, and that's on the 17th, Thursday the 17th, at Oxford for the second leg of the Knockout Cup in the Cab Direct Championship. So Poole Pirates versus Oxford on Wednesday, and then Oxford versus Poole on Thursday. And then I think that, bar the shouting, will be it for the 2024 Speedway season. But there are still one or two episodes of this podcast to come, and we will be reflecting as well on any news that come from the annual conference, which is due to be taking place in the coming weeks as well, which will maybe there'll be different rules or regulations and team news and all that kind of stuff, so we will do that as well. So make sure you like and subscribe and follow the podcast for all the information you need. But thanks for joining us this week. We'll be back with another one next week, and don't forget to look out for that Cab Direct Championship Knockout Cup final Wednesday and Thursday next week. Big one, big finish between Poole and Oxford. If their previous encounters are anything to go by, it's going to be an absolute classic. And if you can't make it in person to either of those fixtures, then both legs will be shown on BSN live on Wednesday and Thursday nights. Thanks for joining us. We're back next week with another episode of No Breaks, No Fear. Take care. Bye-bye.
No Breaks, No Fear. The official British Speedway podcast.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.